Hi.
Hi. Today we're reviewing OMG2,
Oh my god.
starring Akshay Kumar and the protagonist Pankaj Tripathi. Pankaj Tripathi is basically a staunch devotee or param bhakt of Shivji.
So yeah, basically in the first movie, 11 years ago now, you have you have Paresh Rawal playing this atheist who then gets a visit from God after some big thing has happened in his life, and how God helps him and his faith is renewed in a sense. In this movie, you have a sort of reversal there where you have Pankaj Tripathi playing this firm believer and who also has something happen in his life and how God then visits him, helps him out, and again renews his faith in many ways. So
There's a it's all about a legal case.
it's a legal
As
case
in the first one, in the second one as well.
against the legal system itself, against the school system, education system, particularly to do with sex education, which was interesting, a pleasant surprise in my opinion.
So
Interesting.
Pankaj Tripathi's family, there's a incident of a sexual nature, a video, and that threatens his son's education, future, etc. He proceeds to file a case against the school, amongst others, and then, in its own humorous style, in a way, the case proceeds. Yami Gautam Dhar plays the antagonist, in the sense the lawyer for the opposition. Pankaj ends up representing himself. Pavan Malhotra is the judge. He's outstanding as usual. Brajesh Kala, for example, plays a doctor who provides a very good perspective. And along with Akshay, who was there in the first film, Govind Namdeo is again playing a part here, and that's what then kind of the movie's about. So, yeah.
It was, I thought, beautifully made without being preachy, without with such movies where God is involved, where religion comes into play, it's very difficult to not be holier than thou. And this movie achieved that. It wasn't holier than thou, and Pankaj Tripathi was exceptional. And with his acting abilities, with his straight face, he could say things, and and the expressions were spot on.
It was believable.
Yes, it's not like he's trying to, teach somebody anything, be condescending, or rise for the religion and for his God. No. So it was done beautifully, and Pavan Malhotra, I'm a big fan. He played his role to the T as
No,
well.
so like I've gone and watched Rocky Rani now like 3 times. Every time before in the theaters they showed this trailer. But I will say that in the trailers that they showed in cinemas, it showed very little of the movie. And so I was also talking to mom and dad, and I was quite confused on the way. And I was thinking, why exactly was it that they kept so much information? Because usually in trailers, they'll show the entire movie. They'll show every single thing that happens. And so I was very confused. They only showed music, 2, 3 scenes. So I'm like, they must be trying to keep some sort of intrigue. There must be something that they're excited to show or trying to reveal. And they did. It was to do with a topic that I think they wanted to keep secret so that people would kind of come to the movie more expecting something. And I think everybody was pretty intrigued. It was a new direction that nobody expected to do with sex education and to shame. And I really enjoyed the kind of topics that they went on to, going on to British puritanical views, going on to just a lot of things that are staying in India to do with shame, guilt, a lot of colonial mindsets, culture. It was really interesting. I found it felt the movie did feel a little unfinished in some ways. I will say. I don't know what exactly it was. Maybe the music. It was a little sparse in some areas. But overall, fun movie, nicely made. I was nodding very vehemently at the things they were saying and pointing and being like yes. So it was fun, nicely made, and I liked Akshay Kumar's look.
Yes. So did I.
I liked his look. I would wear that in a heartbeat. Like, everything was good.
I think you have to keep in mind a few things when watching the movie. One, they did a really clever job of, as Amrita pointed out, in the trailer highlighting some bits and not highlighting others, because it would have automatically turned off, so to speak, let's call it the family audience otherwise. The way they've done it, it's interesting, and I heartily recommended this movie for families too. The topic is interesting, it is shown brilliantly.
Not too graphically.
Secondly, I think we have to remember that in Oh My God 1, the case is in a way against God and the religious system. Here, the case has nothing to do with God or religion or anything like that. God here is just a device.
Yeah.
For example, in Lage Raho Munna Bhai, you may remember there's an imaginary Gandhi who provides direction. Just in that same way here, this has nothing to do with religion. God is like a skin for this thing. So you have to keep that kind of aside. Maybe mention just in case, because we do end up saying culture a lot, कि ये हमारे संस्कार नहीं है, etc. And I think this movie just tries to put it in perspective that, guys, come on. If you say it's not in our sanskar, you don't really know our sanskar or our culture in that sense. And I thought it was interesting. It was well shown, and they kept that intrigue going.
Yes.
You didn't know what would happen next in some ways. It's an interesting turn of events as well, because Arun Govil, who's playing Ram
I mentioned
in the earliest Ramayana, etc., is actually shown as the school principal as well.
Yes.
So there's some interesting back and forth going on there as well, and a decent soundtrack as you would expect.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one you hear in the trailer was
One in the trailer,
It's
etc.
an adult movie though.
I was just gonna come to that.
By the
So,
way, I was asked
it is an
when I
adult
booked,
movie.
it is an adult movie.
And so I feel that actually
needs to be said.
it's a little funny because it kind of goes against
Yes,
I feel
what
the
the
premise
movie's
of the
standing for.
movie. In my opinion,
So
even
we
such a
discussed
topic,
that.
even if you want to, the first thought is you don't want to take children to this. But the whole
The whole
point
premise
of
is
this
there.
is that you need to reduce that shame associated with such topics and show children. It's not like they'll understand everything, and it's some things they will. Just to get rid of that shame associated talking about sex and talking about your organs and body.
I think there were like
It was interesting.
in the censor board, there were not less than 15 or 16 cuts mandated for the film.
I'm sure.
So I mean, in a way, it's defeating.
It's defeating
what
the purpose of the movie.
The movie is all about, in a sense, from a
That's
holistic
why I
perspective.
mentioned, yeah.
And yeah, thanks for that. In a way, if you remember, around the same time as 2012, 2013 is when my first book launched.
Right.
And I remember the chaos and the eruption that happened with my movie. I mean, the way people wanted to brush it aside, say, how can you write a book on this topic? Which, my book is just 18 plus, and then the subsequent 18 plus do it. It's just a funny look at what happens in all our families, right?
Right.
In all bedrooms in India. And the reactions I got from even school friends, people who know me for like 2-3 decades, was, oh, we can't buy this book, and because, for example, we have someone in our family who's going to get married, how will we explain this to our kids? We can't keep it in our cabinet. And I think the question I had raised even then during panel discussions, etc., was we were really out there.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to our temples, you can read our, we were right at the forefront of, let's say, sex education or sexual pleasure, etc. How and why did we become so puritanical?
British.
How? That's one theory,
Colonial.
but that's one theory again, and I believe it's really convenient to blame someone who's just ruled us maybe for 200 years, unfortunately. But I believe it's wrong. There's something inside us as well now, because they've been long gone, but we still remain the way we were in that sense. So my only point here is, I have experienced this firsthand as well. The way culture is brought up, and you are made to feel an outcast for even discussing something remotely in that sense, right? And I think the A certificate for this movie
It
just
it
shows.
ruins the
And now our child is 18.
and I don't understand that. It's because the whole thing is about reducing the. I don't know. Like, we've grown up with songs that were also explicit about things that maybe we didn't know.
Yeah.
But you still just listen. You're aware of it. It's there. That doesn't make it a bad thing. Just it's fine to go
Right.
and watch it with your children. It's okay.
So, Time for the rating.
Okay.
At the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. 8, 6, 7.
Solid
We
movie.
have-
Solid movie.
We are all in the same range, I guess, and we would love to know what you think. Thank you.
Thank you.